Today's topic is tuberculosis of spine, which is a very common condition in developing nations, and in that we will discuss pathogenesis, presentation and treatment. Tuberculosis spine is also known as a Koch spine or Pott's spine. It is a vertebral osteomyelitis. It is the commonest form of a skeletal tuberculosis, commonest cause of chronic vertebral infections. 30% occur before the age of 10 years. 30% occur before age 10 years. 1 to 3% tuberculosis cases develop skeletal tuberculosis. Hematogenous spread from the primary focus. Common blood supply. It traverses the spine. Involvement of the paradiscal parts of the two contiguous vertebra. It is a typical lesion. Central anterior posterior involvement can happen. Pathologically, a granulomatous inflammation, granuloma, tuberculosis, KCA, sepsis formation, sinus formation, these things happen. Sinus formation happen at a later date. Infection causes the hematogenous spread infection causes hyperemia, osteoporosis, osseous destruction due to lysis, then bone becomes softened, then compressed, collapse and deformation develop. This is the pathogenesis. Necrosis also due to ischemic infarction, endarteritis and periarteritis. Intervertebral disc initially not involved because it is a avascular structure. Disc degenerates due to loss of nutrition and may become separated. Presenting features: most present late with a long duration symptoms. Some patients will present with a deformity, neurological deficit, pain. Deformity is usually localized kyphosis. It will be tender. Some patients will present with a cold abscess, sometimes far from the vertebral column because of the tracking along the facial planes or neurovascular bundles. In the cervical area, it can present in the posterior anterior triangle or retropharyngeal abscess. In the thoracic spine, abscess can accumulate in the posterior mediastinum or mid-axillary or a parasternal as an abscess. Lumbar area, it will trickle down and present as a psoas abscess. Patients will usually have a fever, weakness, anorexia, weight loss. Coming to the neurological complications, occur in 10 to 30% of the patients. There are two types, early and late. Early, usually within 2 years, it is because of the inflammation, edema, abscess formation, caseous tissue and bony sequestrum causes a compression of the spinal cord and patients present with a neurological deficit. Early presentation has got a good prognosis. Sometimes patients present late, after 2 years. It is because of the stretching of the cord over the internal gibbous that causes a myelomalacia and gliosis of the spinal cord, and it is because of the mechanical pressure in the cord or a recurrence of the disease. Prognosis is poor and sometimes patient will develop a permanent neurological deficit. Sometimes patients may present with a acute neurological deficit. It is usually because of the vascular occlusion. The X-ray will show osteoporosis initially, bone destruction, reduced disc space, flattened vertebral body or wedging of the vertebral body. MRI scan and CT scan leave the status of the cord and pus accumulation and destruction of the bone. TB cultures are usually negative. Skeletal tuberculosis is usually paucibacillary. Histology will confirm the diagnosis. Coming to the treatment is mainly medications, anti-tubercular medicines. In that, isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide plus ethambutol or streptomycin for 2 months and INH and rifampicin for next 6 to 12 months. Steroids not proven of benefit. Outcomes depends on early diagnosis. Bed rest, protective bracing and mobilization is required. Surgical treatment is indicated in case of progressive neurological deficit if there is no response to conservative management, persistent neurological deficit, decompression of a large abscess to relieve pressure and prevent sinus formation, anticipate involvement of the contiguous vertebra that causes a worsening deformity. In such cases, you have to stabilize the spine. There is one study published in JBJS 1993 from the chorea. They say chemotherapy alone is sufficient for spinal tuberculosis even in patients with a myelopathy or obvious bone destruction. They reported 92% good clinical recovery and 84% of the patients had a complete or partial fusion with an increased kyphosis. They say the Hong Kong operation is no longer the sole option. The chemotherapy itself is sufficient. But you have to take the decision depending upon the patient condition and it should be individualized. Coming to the types of surgery, you can start the medication and just drain the abscess or decompress, debridement and curate of the necrotic bone, decompression and bone grafting, decompression and deformity correction. In that, there are so many different types are there. Instrumentations, rods, screws, plates are used for additional stability. If there is more than 2 contagious vertebral involvement, then bone graft spanning more than 2 disc spaces. Anterior instrumentation, preferable to posterior instrumentation by according to some surgeons, but it is not universally same. And the instrumentation does not pose a foreign body reaction, unlike in septic infection where you can't put an implant if there is an abscess in the long bones. There is no adherence of mycobacteria to instruments. Transpedicular instrumentation can achieve a rapid relief of instability catch in patients with a limited vertebral body destruction. Despite no obvious bone fusion at the lesion site, spinal alignment can be maintained and screws can be inserted into the healthy pedicles adjacent to the area of bone destruction. However, direct insertion into the infectious focus should be avoided. This has got some advantages. It can stabilize the spine and it can prevent the deformity formation and patient can be mobilized early.